and we're given a personal profile of Jeff and some of the things that he has been involved in over the last many years. And Jeff, let's see if we can pick up where we left off that second segment, talking about your initial involvement with African American theater.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I recall as we were saying that I was sitting in a dressing room at the Alabama Shakespeare Festival, and I was thinking it would be amazing if we could have an African American theater that was like this, a big facility where actors could work and directors could come in and playwrights could hone their skills, and people could come from all over the world to see high quality work in the South, in Nashville. I saw it in New York, I saw it in Chicago, I saw it in LA, I saw it even in Atlanta, but I felt that I needed to do that in Nashville. It was my hometown. It was a place that I had to travel and leave from because I wasn't able to find the compelling kind of roles that I wanted to play. At that time, the roles that were available were slave number one, slave number two, butler number one, butler number two, basically. So I said, there's something else here. When I was a child going to children's theater, I didn't see our faces. I saw the faces when I was 8 years old of an African American theater troupe at Tennessee State when I went to see it, and it inspired me to want to have that career. So I wanted to create something comparable. So I came back here, and in 2001, we started Amun-Ra Theater, and it's an Egyptian term that means the hidden light, and we go by ART, so our letters are art, and that's what our focus is, to expose the hidden light of African American culture through music, drama, dance, and the spoken word. We do a season of plays every year. We do a new playwright series where we give new writers an opportunity to have their voice heard. We have a drama ensemble, acting ensemble. We have a jazz ensemble, a choral ensemble, and a youth performing arts academy, which has been our staple the last 4 years. We do that in the summer, and we take kids from 9 to 13, and we teach them acting, public speaking, how to present yourself on camera, creative writing, movement and dance, and music instruction, choral music. And we give them self-esteem by giving them an opportunity to show out in a theater as opposed to showing out on the street corner. And that's been very significant for us. We had a 5-year plan to get a facility and to start a building and then move forward from there. And it ends up we got that about 2.5 years earlier than expected, before the plan. So we still have a long-range plan, but we're in a facility at 2508 Clifton Avenue, and ART is very excited because talking to another professor, Dr. Bobby Lovett at Tennessee State, we found out that the last African-American owned and operated theater facility in Nashville was a theater called the Majestic that started in 1906. So we found out that we were the first African-American theater facility in Nashville in over 100 years. So that's both a shame and a prideful accomplishment, and we're excited to be in North Nashville.
So you're ready to start that. You're making quite a bit of activity in reference to doing that. And some of the children that you're dealing with, why don't you say something about them?
I love our kids, Doc, and we've got kids who are dropped off for our program now in BMWs and Mercedes. We got kids who walk to the theater. We got kids whose family don't have cars, and they can't afford lunch money in the program. We got them from all spectrums, and those who can afford to pay for a program for training, they do that because we have a high quality program. Those who cannot afford, we get scholarships to make sure that they have access, because that's our mission, to find these kids who are the hidden gems and give them an opportunity to shine. And we find that all the time in our neighborhood. We find kids who just might need a little bit of encouragement. They might need to know that adults care about them and will put their hands around them and usher them to a new day. And that's really our mission. So everything that we do, all the adults plays that we do, we set this up so that we can create this program and have these kids learning from an early age that you are somebody, and this is how you express yourself positively.
And so in a real sense, you're reaching out within the community, and you're bringing children that might not have been that encouraged in their home situation, but now you're making that kind of encouragement, and you're seeing some good results, I would imagine.
I'm seeing some amazing results. I've got kids who I can put in front of anybody,
Good.
hundreds and thousands of people who before, a year before, were shy about saying their name and who wouldn't look you in the eye and wouldn't shake your hand. And we've got success stories like that. One of the reasons why I did jump on the rooftop was to kind of protect some of our kids. And to be frank, a lot of times in the world of nonprofit management, people say, well, you get the little kids, you put them up, you make people feel sorry for them, and then you get people to write checks, and that's the game that you play. But we don't want to play games like that with our kids, because some of our kids, again, come from great families where mom and dad are there. Some of our kids come from families where they hadn't seen their mother or father. People are in substance abuse situations or domestic violence situations. I don't think as an artistic and executive director that by me putting them up there and embarrassing them again by putting a face on what we're doing to make people feel guilty about giving is an effective way. I think it's more effective to build community by saying, we have this program going on. Why don't you come and give us a hand and just help because it's the right thing to do?
And if that's not, you decide to take to the rooftop, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And tell me, really, we've got about 2 minutes in this segment, but tell me, I mean, how did you come to that final decision to do that? I mean, that was a very, very unusual and a very bold kind of decision to make, and you there's a stipulation that you talked about having to have so much money. God, how did that come out?
Well, we decided, and the board of Amun-Ra, it's a nonprofit professional theater ensemble with a strong mission. We decided that we needed something, especially in this recessive environment, to help grow our program, to expand our academy year-round. And so we were trying to come up with ideas. And it hit me that what our community needs, what our kids needs, is a little bit of self-sacrifice. So I said, well, look, I'll go get a tent, and I'll go live on the roof. And I will stay there until we get $30,000. So on some level, it was one person doing something, but more than that, the important thing was the support. People in the community came out and showed our kids that they would get me off the roof, and that's the most important thing. People came from Bellmead to public housing, all together to make this happen and send a message.
And it really was a message, too, because I think that a lot of folks heard about this who probably would not have had an opportunity to hear nor an opportunity to give, but your willingness to do something like that, which was unusual. Well, it's not unusual because, you know, when you talk about sit-ins and freedom rides and all of that kind of activity, that's about the same kind of activity that you're involved in when you're really putting your own person at risk in doing such things, and so we're just glad to have been able to hear about that. And
yes, sir.
I'm sure that after this second commercial break, we'll come back and we'll talk about some additional things. And of course, we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break. Our guest is Jeff Carr.